Hello, hello. Welcome to Top Shelf Backpacking Trail Fails. Today you're going to join me out here along the Klickitat River Trail, where we're attempting a 26.5 mile day hike in preparation for our 26.5 mile fundraiser hike. No real elevation on this one, just hiking upriver, so testing out our gear and getting our feet ready. And today I'm going to tell you about the fail of biting off more than you can chew along my first long trip. The first long distance trip I ever did, I think, was in 2018. And I did the Timberline Trail, 42 miles around Mount Hood, and then connected with the PCT and hiked it south to Mount Jefferson. And I was meeting up with a friend, I want to say on like Friday night after he got off work, at Brighton Bush Lake Campground to then hike into Jefferson Park together and then backtrack out, and that would be my exit. So I had a planned itinerary because obviously I need to be at Brighton Bush Lake by Friday to meet with him. I had a resupply at Timberline Lodge, and the plan was to do the Timberline Trail in 3 days. I've been doing a lot of walking and hiking and rucking, getting ready for it, so I felt pretty good. And day one was planned to be shortish, just because it was first day out on trail. And I was supposed to stop around Ramona Falls to camp the first night. So I got to Ramona Falls, and it was like 1 or 2 in the afternoon. It is a very popular hike, so there were a ton of people there. And I'm like, yeah, I don't think I want to camp here. So, looking at the, I don't remember if it was All Trails or Guttick at the time, I saw somebody that said, yeah, I did the trail in 2 days and camped near this spot one night and then finished at Timberline the next day. And I thought, man, how nice would it be to pick up my resupply a day early and then spend the night up there above Timberline just to enjoy the buffet breakfast the next day and get a jump on things. So I passed Ramona Falls, kept hiking, ended up doing about 17 miles that day, and got up feeling pretty good and set off to make it to Timberline by 5 o'clock, which was much more ambitious than I anticipated. The water crossings on the Timberline Trail, being glacier fed, get a little rowdier throughout the day. I had at that point stopped taking off my shoes to do the water crossings because I ended up just having dry feet every time, so it was a waste of time to put on my Crocs. And then I remember crossing the White River, got my feet soaked, which I didn't think was too big of a deal. However, from just about that point on, the trail was sand from there on out. So eventually 5 o'clock comes, I am nowhere near Timberline, and seeing as that most everything around me is sand, not really sure where I'd want to camp anyway. And I really do want to at least get that buffet breakfast. Even if I don't get my resupply, it's not like I need it yet. I'm still nearly a day ahead of schedule. So eventually I did get to camp up there above Timberline. Some little trees you can camp in. And I got there like 9 o'clock at night. But I did the entire 42 in 2 days. So in the morning, I cleaned up as good as I could, not really realizing this is basically going to be 90% PCT through hikers at this all-you-can-eat brunch. Backpacks everywhere. Not like anybody stunk, but I was definitely the cleanest hiker there. Had an amazing breakfast. The food there is fantastic. And I then went back, packed up camp, got my resupply box, got it all sorted. Now with kind of an extra day of food. And I headed down trail. So the PCT loses quite a bit of elevation. I had misjudged where the trail crossed Highway 26. I thought it was kind of by a little gas station or an area with at least vending machines. So when I showed up at Frog Lake with none of that, it's heartbreak. Then played Frogger crossing Highway 35 as well. Kind of surprised how sketchy that was. Not great line of sight for crossing a freeway. Not that it's crazy busy in the summer. And I headed south, ended up camping at a small spot a few miles north of Timothy Lake. So again, at this point, full day ahead of schedule. A couple ends up camping kind of near me, and I'm in this little, almost like a bivvy tent. It's a really small little coping thing. And that morning, I kind of crawl out my hands and knees, and I go to stand up, and I can't. Like nothing hurt crazy bad. Well, I guess my knees were a little sore. I was using a torso length pad, and I'm a side sleeper, and I think that just the weight of my feet being on the ground, that little height difference was kind of a pain. So I had to crawl on my hands and knees 10 feet across my little campsite to then use a tree to get myself standing. So I was like, all right, that's not a good sign. Got all my stuff packed up, made it a few miles down to Timothy Lake, walked right into it. I'm trying to soak my feet and my knees, and I had cell reception there. So I had messaged my wife and a few of my friends and saying, like, man, really rough. That downhill took a lot out of me, upped the pace quite a bit more than I should have. And they were like, just hang out where you are then. You know, you've got your day ahead. I'm like, nah, actually, like, if I keep moving, I feel fine. It's when I stop is when it was hitting me. So I ended up hiking 18 miles that day after not being able to stand. Made it, somewhere around the Warm Springs River, which the most ironically named river in existence. That's the coldest water I've ever felt. Ended up meeting an Australian lady who was through hiking, named Valley Girl, and ended up spending a few days hiking with her, which helped slow my pace down quite a bit. I did make it to Brighton Bush Lake on Friday. I got there at like noon, so way ahead of schedule. My buddy, who was coming at like 9 with some actual food, like drive-through stuff, ended up doing my laundry. Eventually Valley Girl met up, and then my buddy showed. We did have a group of older backpackers come through, not through hikers, and they camped basically right next to us, even though the campground was empty. But I had the best spot as far as water access, so I couldn't say I blamed them. Valley Girl was incredibly annoyed by them. But watching them drink their coffee with two hands and just look majestic sitting on these rocks overlooking the lake, I mean, it made sense to me. A little, it wasn't one thing right next to us, but you know, 20 feet away when you have an entire campground you can use. But again, we got the best water access. Next day we parted ways with Valley Girl and headed into Jefferson Park, which was beautiful. Thankfully the slower pace and the day off helped my legs recover, but there was absolutely no reason, other than not wanting to camp at Ramona Falls, I needed to do that trail in 2 days, and I paid the price for it by not being able to stand on that fourth morning, I guess. But overall I survived, did the 100 miles, felt good after. I was glad I was as prepared as I was, but sometimes you need to follow your itinerary, set a slower pace, which is what I'm doing out here on the Klickitat. My buddy's way up ahead of me. He's got a faster gait than I do, but seeing as that he's just stopping every so often, make sure I'm in sight, that's fine by me, because I'm not going to push it and wreck my feet trying to do 26 miles today, so I don't want to be toast by mile 10. And that is a lesson I've learned by failing in the past. For more information on the gear and the trails you see on this channel, visit topshelfbackpacking.com. And until I see you again, cheers.